Okay. Well, we're excited to be here, and it's a great tournament. A lot of good baseball teams here for sure. Watching film, getting ready for the tournament. Lots of talented players, good arms, good athletes. So it's a great tournament, and we're certainly excited to be at home hosting it. But for us, it's a one-game tournament starting tomorrow with Oral Roberts, and then obviously the tournament takes off from there. So that's how we're approaching it, and appreciate the way the guys have worked all week to get their legs back underneath them after the Big 12 tournament, and come tomorrow at 6 o'clock, we'll be ready to play.
Josh, I've been dying to ask you this, and it's perfect with Chase sitting next to you. You caught when you were here at Oklahoma State. You know how tough that can be. And when you had the injuries early in the year, and Chase was going to have to be the Iron Man behind the plate, then he does as well as he does with a bat. And I see your team on the road and see how all the guys on this team respect him. Talk a little bit about the influence Chase has had on what this team's accomplished.
Yeah, you probably couldn't state it enough how well he's played, how valuable he's been, how strong and durable and mature he's been. It's not just an offensive component, but the defensive component, the leadership component, the intelligence component, the stability that your catcher provides as the person that you look at every single pitch as a defense that you draw your compass from as far as how the game is going. He's handled all those things better than I ever could have hoped he would, and as you'd said, he did it with an amazing high number of pitches caught and innings played, and so he's done a wonderful job. You can't say enough about who he is as a person, how he's played, and what he means to the team. I think anything you look at in those areas would be accurate. He's been fantastic.
Josh, with this series with ORU, what do you see this coming down to, pitching or hitting?
Both. I mean, it's a complete game. I don't think anybody wins a game at this level if you just play one side of the ball. You got to pitch good, part of pitching good's catching it, and then obviously you got to swing the bat to create offense when it's presented. So yeah, I don't think you win any games this time of year unless it's a really well played baseball game in all phases. Everybody's going to be matching up their pitching. Bullpens will be unloaded relatively early in games, and top relievers will be go-to. So I think you have to play, no matter who you are, what tournament you're in, or where you're at. This time of year, complete baseball is required, and only when you probably run into some of those games that get a little bit outside of the norm, when somebody maybe just sits there and has to out-hit somebody or whatever. Yeah, you might run into games like that at times, but no, first game of a regional tournament, it's going to be a well-played baseball game on both sides.
Does it also come down to starting fast?
Oh, ideally, it's always great to get off to a good start, but it just comes down to playing one pitch at a time. I mean, it's not it's not how you start, it's how you play continuously all the time. We've gotten ahead in games this year, we've trailed at times, and we've played games 0-0 late. It's how you continue to play independent of the score and the other things, and really that's the most mature professional way to play, and it's the way you have to play this time of year. The emotion is natural. It requires control of emotion and maturity and focus, so we just need to stay on those key areas.
Would you like to have three teams in it you didn't know, or do you like the familiarity of Dallas Baptist, ORU, or is it just is what it is?
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously it is what it is because, the assignments are made, and when you're it looks like anyway, just kind of checking out all of the field of 64, that there are some definite regionalized tournaments where teams maybe have seen one another because geographically they're within a 2 or 3 state radius or whatever. So I think there's a regional component to the NCAA tournament. There's also the outside component where you make it in this tournament, a Washington flies in, whom I don't believe anyone in this tournament has seen. But then you have the familiarity that Oral Roberts has with both us and Dallas Baptist. Dallas Baptist could say the same, as could we. So those are all regionalized opponents that, yeah, you come back to see them. Don't know. I mean, obviously you know a little bit about each other because you squared off and you took the field together and you competed, so you got an idea with how they swing the bat, maybe how you'll defend and position your players, who likes to run and bunt, and you've seen some of their arms, maybe not all of their arms, but some of them. But I don't know, do you like playing 3 fresh teams? Maybe, but I don't think that's something you get too caught up in, to be honest with you, Rex. I mean, you're playing in a postseason tournament where excellent baseball and high caliber play is the recipe for success. that's on us and that's on you to control yourself. Who you do it against and where, that's outside of your control. And so you just embrace the chance to go out and play great. And in this particular tournament, there's a lot of familiarity. So I'm gonna have to ask the other coaches how they felt initially when they saw it. I don't know, but I know this. My first reaction is I'm thrilled that we're here playing. I'm thrilled that we're in this ballpark, and I'm thrilled I'm with these kids. And anything other than that is just probably energy wasted on something that you can't control.
With as many innings as you guys played last weekend, what does your pitching kind of look like heading into this weekend?
Nolan's throwing tomorrow. That's it.
All right.
Everybody else ready to pitch behind him, and I mean that's just where we're at, right? You don't have an extended forecast plan for pitching heading into game one of a regional. You prepare for game one. You're still studying the opponent, still matching up behind it. We've matched up quite a bit here over the last month. So Nolan will start tomorrow. Bullpen will be ready. Play them one at a time. Kids are rested. Feel good about how we're throwing the ball. Probably more guys throwing the ball right now at a high rate than at any point in the year. So I'm certainly encouraged by that. But yeah, we're not worried about trying to announce a long-term pitch plan. It's not necessary. You know, we got all our guys primed and ready to go, and Nolan gets the ball first tomorrow, and off we go.
Who they throw is out of your control. They threw Caravello and started him in both the midweek games. You expect to see? You have any idea who you
Well,
expect
I
to see?
think they've announced their classic
Okay.
Friday starter. I believe so. I think he's
Okay.
been announced. So looks like he's had a really nice season. Yeah, looks like he's pitching first for them for a reason. Looks like they trust him, high level trust pitcher, and yeah. So at least that's the information I got. With the name Hall, right? Did I get that right? Okay. Yeah.
Coach, you've known Coach Fulmer clear back to your playing days.
Yep. One of my teammates, awesome guy.
You know what kind of teams he presents, knowing the fact that you guys play each other so often throughout the year. Is this a different ORU team than you've seen in the past, what he's been able to construct, or is this just a typical Fulmer type club?
Oh, I think they're a very good team, but they've been very good for the last 10 years. So, I mean, we have a lot of respect for them. We've played them year in, year out, both home and on the road. Run into them before in the postseason. They're very good. They got a good bunch of athletes, play with good confidence. Yeah, they got a nice ball club. To try to sit here and compare them to all the years past, I'd have to sit down and really look back over it. I just know they've had good clubs. It looks like this is another one of those teams. So Ryan's a good friend. He was a great teammate back in 1996 and 7, and I respect him a lot.
Chase, I asked Josh about your role on this team. If someone had told you in January the script and how it was going to kind of flip with some injuries, you were going to end up catching so many innings, I assume you signed on with it. You'd be good with it.
Absolutely, yeah. I didn't think much of it when it happened. Just play it game by game, and just playing pitch by pitch. But it's exciting.
How have you felt, maybe compared to what you thought the season was going to be for you? Would you say you exceeded your own expectations, or do you even put those out for yourself?
I wouldn't say so. I knew what I was capable of, and it's just finding, just finding that confidence really. From last year to this year, I just knew I was capable of it, and the whole team's playing good baseball, so just fun to be a part of.
The last thing, which I asked about Josh with you as well, being on the road, I was a tech series filling in for Rex, so I got to see what you guys were like at the hotel and away. And the one thing I noticed is the respect you have of your teammates. I mean, guys go to you, they'll joke with you some,
Oh yeah.
but they go with you. They really want to know what you think. Talk about that aspect of it, being a leader within the group.
It's not really something I think about, but I mean, we just have a good time with each other. We're all close in the locker room, so I think it carries over playing. But yeah, we're just close and have a good time.
Chase, how do you deal with fatigue? I imagine when you catch as many innings as you did last weekend, how do you deal with that?
I mean, just get good sleep, eat good, drink a lot of water. Nothing crazy, but I don't overthink it. Just show up ready to play.
Do you think, you mentioned you don't overthink it, do you think that can be detrimental if people do overthink? Oh, I've been catching a lot of innings, I've been doing this, I've been doing that. Can that be detrimental, you think?
I mean, I don't think about it. It's just something I show up to the field and I know what I need to do, and I'm prepared, so I don't really think about all that.
Chasing 6 games in Arlington, is it a good thing? You felt like it brought you guys even closer together, and the resolve, and guys stepping up that they hadn't really called upon all year, and all those things that went into it, and it was a great scenario entering to this tournament.
Yeah, just showing we lost the first game and showing there's no quitting us and what we're capable of. Going and playing the doubleheader, winning 2 games, and they're a really good team. So just showing that we're never out of anything. So it's good that there's still fight, and just came short of pitching coming out of the losers bracket. But yeah, I think it was needed for us.
That surprised you at all with the Nolan and Brendan Phillips and Kiesel and all those guys all stepping up that, again, really haven't been under the spotlight?
No, not at all. We expect that from those guys, and they'll be huge for us coming to finish off the rest of the season. But we know what they're capable of. They did it all fall. They showed glimpses of it throughout the season. So we knew what all those guys could do, and they got their name called and did a really good job.
Nolan, what are the last few days been like for you? Obviously, with your recruitment, you were kind of ended up here later than usual, and now you're playing in the postseason in your first year here.
Yeah, it's pretty surreal. You know, I'm really happy to be here. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. And for us to be not only in it but hosting is pretty special, especially with how great of a facility we have and fans behind us. I think our team deserves this, and we've worked hard for it, and we're going to keep going, and we're going to prove that why we're hosting.
You started out, you were heading to Michigan, and then things went the way they did. Did it take you very long to wrap yourself around, okay, I'm an Oklahoma State Cowboy, and really feel comfortable? Because by your performance, it looked like you felt comfortable from the get-go.
Yeah, no, it didn't take long at all. When I showed up here in the fall, everybody was welcoming and in open arms, and it was like a family here. Coach Holliday took me in, and everybody, all the other coaches, and just showed me the ways. I had older guys that take me under their wing and show me what to do and what not to do, and then had a great support staff behind me, and helping me in both my physical game, but also my mental game, and being able to slow the game down because it's a faster game at this level, and just having their trust in me to be able to play how they know I can play and how I know I can play.
The numbers you put up, is it about what you expected, or did you surprise yourself a little bit?
No, I think it's about what I expected. I don't really try to put any thought on the numbers. My whole goal is to help my team win as much as I can, and if those numbers mean that I'm helping my team win, then that's great. But if I can do it in some other fashion, then I'll do it that way too. But I'm just here to help my team win in any way possible.
You made the jump to Division I pitching look pretty seamless from high school.
Yeah, I think that's just. I played in a bunch of different summer circuit stuff, and I was facing some top arms from throughout high school and seeing guys like that all the time. And being in high school and my team, I would be able to face other guys in my school as well. So I think it was just preparation, and then the fall was a big help in the preseason and just getting as many at bats as I did and getting prepared for the season.
Chase, editorial statement back in the day, and there's a few guys in this room that remember. Every game against an ORU team, it felt a little bit like a bedlam. There was a harsh rivalry. How do you characterize this? You've been through a bunch of games with Golden Eagles. Is this a pretty good rivalry that we'll see kicking off the regional tomorrow night at 6?
I don't know about a rivalry because I don't know the history behind it, but there's a solid team, and we're just gonna show up like any other game. And we always talk about playing the ball, and we don't really overthink all that.
Josh, I mentioned you knew in recruiting Nolan that he was going to be pretty good, but at what point did you know, hey, this is going to be an instant impact for the team?
First couple days I saw him swing the bat in batting practice. I just saw a different energy in the bat and the ball, and then over the course of the first month, started seeing some things that are rare in a young hitter, and then by the end of the fall, against our pitching staff with close to 100 at bats, it was pretty clear that there was a talent and a work ethic and a maturity about him that was different. But there's no guarantees that what someone does in the fall translates to the spring either. We've all seen fall ball, and it's sometimes it's just that. But I think when you trace a player's path, their work ethic, how they show up at the field, are they consistent? How do they do in school? Do they wake up and go to breakfast? Do they look fresh when they come to the field? Are they alert? Are they respected by the other team members? I saw numerous examples of somebody that was ready to compete And then when we hit the season, his preparation and his confidence and his investment in the game were healthy, and the game started to give him a chance to shine. And he has worked every single day like a pro, and he's handled himself like a man. He's an elite student, he's an elite person, goes to bed at night, takes care of himself, and he gives his talent a chance to be on display when the game is played. And so it's a pretty well-rounded, mature person for someone who's just 19 years old. And he, unlike some freshmen, is an age-appropriate freshman at the college level. So he's not 9 to 12 months older than his graduating class. He's actually on the young side. So it's just a very mature, I would say, compliments to his parents, extremely well-raised and disciplined person.
Josh, through watching the teams this week and scouting, have you discovered anything that maybe you didn't know, even though you've seen two of the teams already?
Just a lot of, I would just say college baseball in general this year, and watching film and preparing for so many teams. Just a lot of good baseball players, a lot of big arms, a lot of good teams, just a lot of good college players. I think the parity and the gap between teams that used to exist is really thinned down over the years. Like college baseball is just it's full of good players right now. The pitching depth and velocity across college pitching staffs is up in a way that I've never seen it before. I just think college baseball in general. You know, the tournament we just played in down in Arlington was a great tournament in terms of the type of competition we saw. This tournament's full of good players, so thankfully our conference has prepared us for this tournament. And for that matter, anything that's going to come our way, we've seen it in some form or fashion this year. So these two particular three teams that I've seen, I'll watch one more team on film today, just very good, solid baseball teams, well-rounded. There's offense, there's pitching, and obviously you can play high-level defense to get to this point in the year. So I would say very well-rounded teams.
Josh, how has the transfer portal changed clubs like ORU that have gotten a lot of guys through the portal that might not have gotten minutes at other places to put where they are now?
Well, I don't really want to speak about how it's changed ORU because I don't coach there. I can tell you, I think in college baseball circles, teams may choose to go older or talented players coming from a team, as you said, that they weren't playing at versus playing young. So you might be facing a predominantly older lineup compared to younger or middle-aged lineups in some capacities. The transfer portal has a lot of different discussion points, but we've been real fortunate. The guys that have transferred in here have been great fits for us and filled an immediate need that we thought we had on our team. And then in those other spots, whether it's a guy in your program that keeps evolving and developing, or a freshman that steps right in and play, I think the dynamic of teams are different for everyone. Some schools are predominantly older based on their recruiting model, and if that's what works for them, then that's what they've figured out. Some are traditional, and that they're probably 80% homegrown, 20% transfer driven, and maybe there's more that are close to 50-50. So I don't know, I wouldn't want to say for any other team. I know when you just look at rosters, you say older player, mature player, young player, inexperienced player but talented. You just evaluate the player and how the pieces fit together. And some schools will tell you they've had to figure out their fit in how to acquire players with the way things are going. So each coach could probably tell you how it's impacted their team. The guys that are here, got a great story here who started out at Boise State. They dropped baseball. He goes to junior college, puts his time in. We're fortunate to get him. He's in his second year with us now. A lot of the toughness and things that you asked about earlier were developed in that experience of leaving a program that got dropped to a junior college that played great baseball to being here. And then in Nolan's situation, a true freshman matriculates to campus on time. So, your roster's just made up of all different stories. It's kind of what makes a team a team. It's what brings something to the locker room.
All right, guys, coming close to our end of our time here. Any last couple questions for Oklahoma State?
Who's in charge of Sinatra?
That was Coach Ventura today. Yep. Beautiful. Much, much better sounding ballpark.
Thank you.